Hi traders, welcome to Elite Currency. My name is Chris, and today I focus on the euro dollar and pound dollar analysis a bit more in depth than our usual forex market video, taking a look at the market structure, of course, and patterns specifically, as you're used to with us. All right, first of all, of course, still the uptrend here visible, but we're seeing a big bearish candle. But mind you, there are still a couple of days left in September, so don't get too excited about this bearishness as yet. Still 3 days left, of course, and Friday is the last day, and something to be aware of course, is the fact that the last day of a month or the last day of a week, sometimes even, right, is profit-taking, could create volatility. Be careful of that, especially because this Friday is the last day of the quarter as well. So, but still 3 days left in this monthly candle. Don't look at this yet, but if it closes like this, and this weekend we'll look at that, of course, then that could be an interesting bearish kind of retracement signal. For the moment, though, we have basically momentum pushing lower. So how far could this push within this uptrend? So we can try to look for support levels, of course, to see how far this could push. 117.50, the quarter level, was something we mentioned before. Price did indeed bounce there, but now it seems to be threatening that level again. And this time, I think, as it's the second approach towards this support level, it should be able to break that. So what is the next level of confluence or decision zone for this particular pair? Well, I think 117 here, you can see basically this candle high, these candle lows here, 116.75, 117 could be an area to think about as a stopping spot. But after that, probably all the way down to 115, right? 115, the psychological round level. So let me put a level right there then, just so you can visually see that. So 115 right there. So if it, not much space with this break, but the next break, we could see a bigger move down back to the moving averages as well. And we could put a fib, of course, in that case, maybe from here to here, if price does push that far deep. And you can see that basically there's a chance that price might respect the 23.6 fib at 117-ish. And if it breaks below that, then there's a space down to the 38.2 fib at indeed around 115. So here we got a cluster of support, and here we got a cluster of support. So on lower time frames, and once again, this is a weekly chart, so there is maybe some space still left to the downside on lower time frames here, but we should then be aware that it could bounce, right? But if it breaks, then there's more space down to the 38.2 fib. You can see how the space here works out with regard to the euro dollar. So moving into the daily chart, 2 days ago, strong bearish candle that broke basically the uptrend channel we talked about here. And let me get rid of this fib because otherwise it will be a bit too messy, I think. Euro dollar, there we go. Basically, you can see here breaking this channel, right? The channel, pretty neat. I mean, we're talking about a 9th-month channel like this. That's pretty cool. But I think it was Monday's daily candle, right, that broke below this. And we also had a head and shoulders pattern, which broke here too. And that was a good short on the SWOT system. Check out our other video with the SWOT, our Forex setups. We show some couple of SWOT setups. One of them was here for downside down to 117.50. So price is now approaching 117.50 again. Not a good moment, I think, to short right here personally. But if you took a setup like our SWOT system here, that would have been a bit better, and you would be already up maybe 20, probably 30 pips in the meantime. Because this was just like here, this is all about patterns. This was a bear flag, this was a correction, and these were continuation signals basically. So back to the 4-hour chart, we can see that I think if we get a good 4-hour candle close right in here like this, preferably through this 117.50, right, the candle close below it, something like this, with the candle close near the low, then I think we could see on lower time frames, 1 hour, 15-minute chart, some bear flag continuation down to 117. There's not a lot of space there before we hit that round level. But once again, if price does get here, let's say price breaks, pulls back, continues as I probably think it will at this moment, then I'm also keeping a very close eye on this zone because it could be a bouncing spot. It could be a bouncing spot as price basically heads back towards maybe an ABC correction towards resistance. What it could do is make a correction like this. It could fall today, tomorrow maybe make an A, Friday make a B, and then beginning next week make an upside. Something like that. Just a rough idea at this moment what it could do. And then after this, it could be downside down to the 38.2 fib. So this is what I'm expecting from a path of least resistance point of view on the euro dollar at this moment. That's basically it. So 4-hour candle will break below the 117.50, could be a trigger, and on maybe on a 50-minute chart, we'll be looking for, well, basically a wave 4 for one last wave 5, and there's not a lot of space there really. It's an iffy trade. It's not really that great. It's a dangerous trade in a way, not good for beginners, but could be okay for advanced traders. And the bounce here, also more of an advanced trader trade, to be honest, because of the fact that, well, depends on how the candlestick price action patterns develop. Better trade for beginners could be, for instance, or an easier potential setup could be if there's strong momentum here, this hook back and bounce as part of the C wave. That could be maybe more interesting. If price does not bounce here, or, right, we get a break, pullback, continue, and price makes a bear flag like this, yes, it could continue lower, down to the 15 immediately. It doesn't have to retrace all the way up to 119, right? It doesn't have to. If it goes sideways and breaks that flag, price might fall indeed right away to the 115, and I would be looking to trade the break below here down to 115 on 1-hour charts, probably for intra-week, intraday setups. With regard to the pound dollar, let me start here too, all the way a bit higher. We have bullish momentum. Weekly candle is not closed yet either. Last week was bearish though. And the daily chart, we see kind of it was a falling wedge, but it is actually breaking down at this moment. But will it be able to maintain that break, or will it just be a bit of a bigger kind of push before we bump into support? So it is, if we look at this candle, it is actually breaking this falling wedge at this moment, but it hasn't closed yet. So if this candle closes like this, well, then it could be a breakout to the downside, and it could be breaking, in fact, for further downside, maybe down to the moving average, for instance, right? That could be a level of confidence to think about. We could use fibs to get an idea about what kind of level price might move to. So let's put a fib from here to here. And we might want to be careful of the 38.2 fib. As you can see, it stopped at the 23.6 fib. So there's not a lot of space here left, even with a good breakout candle. 133.50. That's not all too good. So I'd still be careful with downside. But if it breaks below 133.50, then 132.50 and the 50 fib plus the quarter level seems likely. So there is some downside space here. Would need to see kind of either a bear flag at the 38 and a break of that for downside, or for upside, a bounce at the 50 fib, of course, or even some strong, good candlestick patterns at the 38.2 fib for upside too. Those are still bouncing spots in my view, at this moment at least. So yes, breakout candle on the 1-hour chart, I don't trust the downside as yet. Not at the moment. Would have to be down in here. For the moment, I think still more of a bouncing spot, even though the rising wedge could have been broken. But the thing is that these patterns, yes, they break sometimes they hold. That's what trading is all about, of course, pattern breaks and bounces and market structure. But in this case, I think that there's probably a channel available too. You see, like this. So we have to keep an eye on different types of formations and structures. So this could be going on too. So could it kind of like inch downward to the 38 and then bounce at the bottom of this channel? Yes. So we need this channel on this chart too to get a representative kind of clue of the 1-hour chart in my view. So that's about it. I think it could still fall a little bit, but let's see if it bounces or breaks here. The 38.2 fib really, I think, the key to the pound. Sorry, to the pound at the moment. Of course, if it breaks above this channel, by the way, that would indicate bullish breakout as well towards the 138.70 and the -272 target. All right, hope that this euro dollar pound dollar update helped with your analysis. Check out more free material with elitecurrency.com, and wish you all great trading. Cheers.